Welcome back. I'm Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today we're going to be revisiting the land of Crine, or Kryn, I don't know how they pronounce it. But it's the Dragonlance saga. I reviewed Dragons of Autumn Twilight earlier, Dragons of Winter Night. Now we are to Dragons of Spring Dawning, by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. It might be Margaret Weiss. I don't know. It's Margaret Weiss, Margaret Weiss. I've never met the lady. I have met Tracy Hickman. He signed all my books. I've also met Larry Elmore, the guy who did these magnificent cover paintings. He even gave me this portrait of Lorana and Tanis that he signed to me. Great guy. Great. If you want to see kind of how I know these people, I'm an author, I go to the Comic-Cons. I met a lot of these people. Some of them I consider friends. I even took, if you don't remember, if you didn't watch my other videos, I even took Mr. Elmore, there we are, on a tour of southern Utah when he came to one of the Comic-Cons in Utah. Yeah, it was great. It was cool. It was awesome. Because I loved Elmore. I loved Elmore's work as a kid, like his illustrations, man. I loved him. He was my favorite artist when I was a kid, and I loved his illustrations. So when I grow up to be an adult, it's awesome to meet the guy and get to hang out with him. And look at that painting. Look at the paintings that he did. We've got Coromon. We've got his brother Raceland. We've got Tika Whelan, the wench turned adventurer. She was the bartender at the Inn of the Last Home, or whatever it was called. And now she's part of the adventure. In fact, Dragons of Spring Dawning, that's what we're talking about. Our adventurers now. The dragons have come to the land to wreak havoc on everybody with the evil dragon lord, Kitiara. The dragons have come. Our heroes have finally got the dragon lances in their possession to help them fight the dragons and the evil that's coming, the cataclysm, whatever you want to call it. It's coming and they got to stop it. Our heroes got to stop it. And our heroes are reeling from the death of one of their friends that happened in Dragons of Winter Night Book 2. And if you want to watch my video of that, I'm not going to give a spoiler, but yes, somebody does die. One of our favorite characters dies a heartbreaking death at the end of Book 2. Oh, I remember when I read it as a kid, and I read that character's death, I was devastated. I was floored. I was just like, I don't know what to do now. I don't know what to do anymore. Fantasy authors aren't supposed to kill them. They're not supposed to kill people. It's an adventure. It's like Star Wars. It's like people are supposed to live. It's a happily ever after for everybody, right? No, my favorite adventurer, my favorite guy, he can't die. He can't die. But he did. They killed him. And it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. And our adventurers at the beginning of Dragon Spring Dawning are dealing with this horrific death and betrayal that's come upon them by someone they used to call a friend. And then they've got they're dead. Died a horrific, noble, brave death. At least there was that. At least he didn't go out like a punk. He went out in probably the most badass way you could go out. So, there was that. But now our remaining adventures, Tanis Half-Elven, Lorana, Tika Whelan, Coromon, Raceland, Sturm, Flint Fireforge, Riverwind, Goldmoon, Tasselhoff, Burfoot, Fizzban, all the people. One of those people I mentioned, though, died. So, just so you know. He died at the end of this book. One of those people I mentioned just died. Dead. Devastating. I still feel it. I still feel the pain. Even as an adult. I'm like, because I remember how I felt as a kid. I was like, no. Don't kill people in my fantasy stories. Now if my fantasy stories don't kill people, I'm disappointed. I'm like, no, everybody has to die now. As an adult, I'm like much more cynical, and I'm like, God, if you don't kill your characters, then what's the point? Kill them all, right? Rogue One the crap out of everybody. Just Rogue One them all. Just Rogue One them. Kill them. Shoot them with the Death Star and blow them all up. That's the way I am now. But as a kid, I didn't want anybody to get killed. And they got killed. God. And so, Dragons of Spring Dawning comes out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is dangerous. People could die. Who else might die in Dragons of Spring Dawning? Because they've already showed me that they're going to kill people. They're going to kill my favorite characters. Who's going to die now? I remember reading it, just the adventure goes on, and I won't get into the plot. I do spoiler-free stuff. I just gush on and on about the stories I love and the books I love. And the thing is the adventure goes on. They fight the dragons. They're trying to avoid the cataclysm. It's just, I mean, it's your typical fantasy stuff. It's like Dungeons and Dragons. Fantasy, sword and sorcery, dragons. It's cool. I mentioned all the characters. I love all the characters. The trilogy is just, look at these. I mean, red, blue, green, the Larry Elmore covers. They're like just shining jewels. That's what they are, these books. They're just shining jewels. I love them for how they made me feel as a kid. And this one's just as heartbreaking. Oh my gosh. Like I said, someone died at the end of book 2. Oh, the end of book 3. Bittersweet. Bittersweet. Happy ending, but you still just are like, oh, why? Why did you do it? Why did you do it, Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman? Why? Why couldn't our adventurers just all live happily ever after? But then we get the next trilogy that answers a lot of questions, and I'll be reviewing those too somewhere down the road. So, Dragonlance, yes. Yes, Dragonlance. Part of my youth. Part of your youth too, if you're watching this. And that's what's important. Do we reread these and kind of roll our eyes once in a while thinking, why did I like this so much as a kid? Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Now, let's be honest, a little bit. But we still love it to death because it meant so much to us as a kid, and that's what's important. To hold on to those things that made you feel alive when you were a kid. And just keep them and cherish them for what they were and what they meant to you. And reread them and enjoy them for what they were. And that's what I did. I reread these and I was like, yeah, they were cool then, and they're still cool now. So, Dragons of Spring Dawning. That is right. The Dragonlance saga. I give Dragons of Spring Dawning about an 8 out of 10. The whole series just gets 10 out of 10 just because it's so damn good, so damn cool. For when I was a kid, I worshipped these characters. I wanted to be part of their adventures. So, Dragonlance, go get them now.